Alright guys, here we are back again with kind of a behind the scenes look at some of my tricks of the trade that I have found over the time of putting these things together. So this is a more recent one that I have done. This is actually using the 2019 mapping. I was kind of starting off with this and then ended up going in a different direction this year. Well, I guess last year. But what we're going to show today is what I have found to be the best lightning effect for the projection mapping. I've seen a lot as I've kind of poked around. I even put together some pretty bad attempts at it, and this is what I have found the best. So I'm actually going to roll this because you have not seen this version. I never put it up on the internet. So take a look at it. Now you'll see that those are timed, and you'll notice a couple little things about it. It has the illusion of the house kind of moving a little bit and getting brighter. So one of the things that I had tried before, which it worked, it was good enough for the time, but the more I looked at it, I was like, this kind of looks a little weird. I was like, oh, lightning flashes, so I have the house flash white and everything. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's great. It looked awesome on my computer, got it out to the house, set up, and it was just a lackluster. Because what was happening is, you can see the house looks haunted here. It has the siding on it, the blood splatter, all the different colors, the rust and everything, the barn door looking doors all boarded up. And it looks awesome on the house. However, when I flash it white, you can see that my house does not normally look like that. You see the siding and the nice garage doors and all that, and it totally lost the feature because apparently when lightning was striking, my house was getting unhaunted, which is not the right look for it. So what I was thinking was, well, when the lightning crashes and it's dark out, your house gets brighter. So why don't I make this house brighter? So when I put down my whole house layer, I made sure that when I put down my hauntified layer, there we go. When I put that down, I made sure that it was a darker version of it. So it looked a little darker. I also had some fog playing on it, so that way it kind of looked a little more menacing, gave it a little more dimension. And then you'll see something up here called the haunted buffer. This haunted buffer was the key. So I have my thunder sound effects, that's down here. And you really just throw those in because the haunted buffer goes along with the thunder sound effects. This actually took quite a lot of time to kind of figure out in the beginning. So what I did was, with this haunted buffer, this is a brighter version of my hauntified background. So the brighter version is completely turned off in opacity at this point. And you'll see that there are a ton of different keyframes, and let me zoom in on them. You'll see that there's a ton of different keyframes going on in here. Let's play it and see if you can figure out what's going on with those keyframes. All right, so it goes through really quick. So I listened to the sound of the lightning and not the sound of the lightning, the sound of the thunder. And what I had done was try to think, okay, the thunder crashes right here. I'm going to make the house brighter. So it goes from 0 up to 100. Now my haunted buffer layer, if you look close, you can see this looks double imposed, like it's kind of moved up a little bit. And I did that just to make it stand out a little bit more. So it goes from 0 to 80, and then back to 0 again. Doesn't make it all the way up to 100. Okay, it goes down to the next one where it's kind of rumbles back from 0 to 100 to 30 to 90 and then back to 0. And I'll tell you right now before I get comments, why did I pick these numbers, like anything specific about them? And the answer is no. What I wanted to show here was that it varies, because when lightning strikes around your house, it's not just like stark white, black, stark white, black. It depends on where the lightning is crashing and how many times it flickers, whether your house gets kind of brighter and or darker, or if it does like a little fade midway through. So I just try to simulate lightning as best as possible, and you can see that this really goes along with both. And if you look here, I have from 0, and it gradually gets brighter up until 91 and then 100, and then it goes back to 0. Okay, and I tried to do some differing effects once again just to add some realism to it. So I'll play this just so you can see what it looks like now that you saw the numbers. Doesn't this, I love this long pause, or this long fade build up there. Watch it again. There you go. So I just kind of fool around with them, mess around with those keyframes, and it's all in the opacity. That's the only thing you're changing here. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit more because I'm in really close, and you'll see that as this plays along, every time there was thunder in the clip, I made the house flash. People walked across that, just, don't worry about that. You can do that with the other tutorials. Here comes some more thunder. So here's the lightning that goes along with it. Now, you can see there's a ton of keyframes. This could take you forever because this was a 3-minute and 30-second piece. So those first flashes that I was showing you was only in like the first 3 seconds. So here we go. Actually, I take that back. Here's from 0 to 2. All of those keyframes that I showed you in the first clip was just in 2 seconds. So this could take you a really long time, and I was finding that too. And I thought to myself, why am I going through all of this? Why don't I just have the thunder sounds and the haunted buffer loop? So I took my haunted buffer, and then I held command, and then I clicked thunder sound effects, control if you're on Windows, and I grabbed both of those, and then I hit command C or control C, and then I pasted them, and then I put a new layer in, and I put a new layer in, and I put a new layer in. So all of these layers, this haunted buffer, is the same exact thing, same exact thing, same exact thing. And when you copy and paste it, they line up perfectly, and it will just continue on. So really, I only did about 45 seconds of going through and matching the lightning, the opacity fluctuations to the thunder sounds for just the 45 seconds, and then I copied and pasted it for the rest. And you would have absolutely no clue if you watch this to see if there was any seam. So here it comes from 1. And you would never know that there was kind of a pause or a recap in between both of them. All right, so hopefully this was very helpful for you. Just to answer a couple questions before you throw them up in the comments, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a couple. Where do you get the thunder sound effects? Well, once again, you can go outside and record if you want to do that, or you could search around, or you could purchase them, and that would be a really good thing to do. You don't need anything specific. Just make sure you have, a thunder sound, and make sure that it, happens enough that it isn't overdone, but also not long periods in between that kind of lose the effect. So I had the thunder crashing. It was almost every 10 seconds or so. Another question that I'm going to get right off the bat is, Your fog looks awesome. Where did you get that fog buffer? So in this file, the Atmos effects, this is the foul play, which is one of my favorite illusions. It's the silhouettes that kind of walk across. And in the background, they have a fog. But what I did was, in between the characters, there are dead clips where there's no silhouette, but there's fog. So I captured that timing of the fog, and then I put them together and I slowed it down a little bit. I think I did it in a different one. I did. So I slowed it down and then had it repeat. So I had it play forward slowly, and then I flipped it and it played in reverse slowly. So that way it kind of kept the seam moving without like being a very choppy start and stop, start and stop. So those are probably the two questions that I'm expecting the most. The rest of the things, like how this person started down here and now suddenly there's somebody up top, that was just the position keyframing. So in the video, when the lady stopped, I just moved it up here, and then he came out here. And I did the same thing for over here. I just moved the video from this left side to my right side, so she came up on that side of the house. So all of those different things are in the different tutorials. As always, if you ever have a question, please reach out to me. I think I'm pretty helpful, at least that's what people tell me. If you have ideas for other tutorials, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you out. I'm an open book. I'd like to share what I have learned over the past years. And as always, if you have ever put these tutorials into effect, please let me know, and I would be happy to link them onto my page so you can share out with other people as well. And I love seeing your work. So I hope this was helpful, and enjoy the rest of your day.